Hi students, once again I welcome you all to my channel Abrar classes. Today we'll be seeing some interesting problems. Now this is the first problem. It is saying if I is equal to I naught some sine of omega t, okay, and E is equal to E naught cos of omega t plus of pi by 3, calculate phase difference between E and I. Okay, you have to calculate the phase difference between E and I. Now how to write I is equal to I naught sine of omega t. Okay, first let me clear. Okay, if this is the x-axis, if this is the x-axis and this is the y-axis, this is what I naught sine of omega t. Okay, now what is this one? E is equal to E naught cos of omega t plus pi by 3, where cos of omega t will be coming in the positive y-axis. Okay, this will be what? E naught cos of omega t. Understood? Now what they are saying? They are saying that E is equal to E naught cos of omega t plus pi by 3, plus pi by 3. Where that pi by 3 is positive or negative? It is positive. It will be in the anti-clockwise direction. Okay, it will be in the anti-clockwise direction. This is what E, and what is the angle in the anti-clockwise direction? Okay, from the positive y-axis, this will be pi by 3. This will be pi by 3. So totally it looks like this. This is what I, because I is equal to what? I naught sin of omega t. Okay, and what is E? E is what? E will be here, somewhere here. Okay, and this will be E, right? Okay, and this will be how much? This angle is how much? Pi by 3. This angle is how much? Pi by 3. And how much is this angle? This angle is how much? 90 degree. That is pi by 2. Right? Okay. This will be pi by 3. Now what they are asking? Calculate phase difference between E and I. Phase difference we have to calculate. That is, this is the phase difference. This is the phase difference. Okay. This angle they are asking. Okay. That angle, phase difference, delta phi. Okay. Delta phi is what? Sum of, that is pi by 2 plus of pi by 3. Okay, that is equal to 90 plus of 60. How much this will be? Okay, 90 degree plus 60 degree is equal to 150 degree. Hope you understood. Okay, whenever you have I naught sin omega t, that you can put in the x-axis. This is the x-axis. Okay, positive x-axis. Whenever you have E naught cos of omega t, this is what? Positive y-axis. Okay, positive y-axis. Now here what they are given? E is what? E naught cos of omega t plus pi by 3. Therefore, it will be in the anti-clockwise direction. Okay, with respect to what? Positive y-axis, pi by 3. This is E. Okay, where E is what? E naught cos omega t plus pi by 3. And now this is what? I is equal to I naught sin of omega t. Now this total phase difference. Okay, total angle from the positive x-axis to this particular equation of E. Okay, here this vector to this vector, okay, is what? The angle is what? Pi by 2 plus pi by 3 is 150 degree. Hope you understood. Let us see the next sum. What is saying? In a certain circuit, E is equal to what? 200 cos of 314t. Okay, now, and I is equal to what? Sine of 314t plus of pi by 4. Okay, this is like this. Okay, E is equal to, okay, E is equal to what? E naught cos of omega t. Right. I is equal to what? I naught sine of omega t plus of pi by 4, where omega is angular frequency and that is equal to 314 radians per second. Okay, what it may be. Now we have to observe these vectors. Okay, you have to observe these vectors. Okay, vector diagram or phasor diagram you have to see. Where that I will be coming, I see. This is x-axis. Okay, and this is y-axis. Right. Where I is equal to I sine of omega t plus pi by 4. Okay, it is leading. Okay, by angle pi by 4. Therefore, positive x-axis. Okay, this is the positive x-axis. This will be at an angle pi by 4 from positive x-axis. This is what I, right? This is what I. Now this is what, how much? Pi by 4 in the anti-clockwise direction. Pi by 4. Pi by 4. Now what about E? E is equal to E naught cos of omega t. Where exactly it will be? It will be here only. E will be here only. E will be here only. Now, if this is pi by 4, how much is pi by 4? Pi by 4 is 45 degree. This will be also how much? Pi by 4. This angle will also be how much? Pi by 4. This is pi by 4. This is also pi by 4. Now see here, E is leading by an angle pi by 4 with respect to, this is like this. This is E and this is I. I is lagging by an angle pi by 4, or E is leading by an angle pi by 4. If I rotate this phasor, again you will be seeing E like this and I like this, right? Here also again what? I is lagging by an angle pi by 4 and E is leading by an angle pi by 4. Okay, this is 0. Now observe the diagrams. This is E and I. E is leading by an angle pi by 4. This is the right answer. No, E and I. No, I is not leading. Okay, this is not leading by 3 pi by 4. This is not leading. This is the right answer. Hope you understood this. Okay, very easy sum. Let us see the next sum. What it is saying? It is saying that voltage and current in AC circuit are given by, okay, now again draw the x-axis and draw the positive y-axis. Okay, now see here, this is what leading or lagging? This is lagging by an angle how much? Pi by 6. Therefore where V will be lagging means what? Downwards in the clockwise direction. This is like this. Okay, this is what? V by an angle how much? Pi by 6. Do not write minus here. Okay, do not write minus here. Already it is what? Written. Okay, we have shown this in the clockwise direction. This is pi by 6. Okay, this is V. Where I is leading by an angle how much? Pi by 6. Therefore it will be, E will be somewhere here. This will be V is here and I is here. This is leading by an angle how much? Pi by 6, right? Where is V? V is lagging by an angle pi by 6, and now I is leading by an angle pi by 6. What they are asking, then we conclude that. Now what about V and I? What is the total angle? What is the total angle? Okay, delta phi. Delta phi is equal to pi by 6 plus pi by 6 is how much? Pi by 6, 30 plus 30 is equal to 60 degree, you can write. Okay, now here this is total I and this is total V, right? Okay, now the angle between them is how much? 60 degree. What I can conclude? I is leading by an angle how much? 60 degree. Okay, I is leading by an angle 60 degree. Voltage leads the current. No, wrong. Current leads the voltage by 30 degree. Wrong. Current leads the voltage by 60 degree. This is the right answer. Current leads the voltage by 60 degree. This is the right answer. Okay, you can write even like this also. Again, this is, if you take I on the x-axis, again V will be like this. You can rotate this vector. Okay, this is V. Again the angle will be how much? 60 degree only. Okay, I is leading an angle 60 degree with respect to V. Let us see the next sum. Now here in this one, what they are telling, current I1 is given, I2 is given, you have to calculate I3. What is I3? I3 is equal to what? By using Kirchhoff's current law, I3 is equal to I1 plus I2. Right? Okay, these are the vectors that we are adding. Okay, what is I1? 3A sine omega t, okay, plus of what? 4a cos of omega t. You have to add these two vectors, okay. Now we'll write the vector diagram or phasor diagram. Where is I1? I1 is here. How many amperes? This is, I can write 3 amperes, okay, 3 amperes. Let us write the amplitude, okay, 3 amperes. Where is this one? This is I2 in the positive y-axis, okay, positive y-axis. This is x-axis and this is what? Y-axis, right? Now this is 3, this is 4 amperes, right? 4 amperes. Okay, this is the amplitude, 3 amperes and 4 amperes. This is I1 and this is I2. What you have to calculate? You have to calculate the sum. How to sum this one? Okay. Now you have to write the resultant vector. You have to write the resultant vector. This is the resultant vector. Okay. This is the resultant vector. Let me call this as IOR, resultant vector. Okay. IOR. Okay. IOR. If this is 3, this is 4, this also will be 4 amperes. Then IOR, if I use Pythagoras theorem, IOR will be how much? 5 amperes. 5 amperes, right? What is the angle? Okay, this is the resultant vector. Okay, resultant amplitude. Resultant amplitude is how much? 5 amperes. What is the angle? How to calculate the angle? This is the angle. Okay, I can call this delta. Tan delta is equal to how much? Tan delta is equal to what? Opposite by adjacent. Opposite by adjacent means 4 by 3. And we know very clearly that how much is delta? Delta will be equal to 53 degree. Delta will be 53 degree. Okay. You have to remember this one. How much tan delta? If tan delta is equal to 4 by 3, delta is equal to, if tan delta is equal to 4 by 3, delta will be equal to how much? 53 degree. And now this is by using Pythagoras theorem. This is 3 amperes, 4 amperes, IOR. Okay. What is the total resultant current? 5 amperes. Okay. Now let us see this one. How to write the equation? I is equal to IOR. Okay. That is the resultant amplitude of the current. Okay. This is coming in the, okay, like this. This is between positive x-axis and y-axis. I can write this as what? Sine of omega t, right? How much is the angle? Plus of delta. Okay. Now substitute. I is equal to IOR, that is resultant amplitude of current is 5 amperes. I can write into what? That is sine of omega t. I can write plus of delta is how much? 53 degree. 53 degree. Okay. See the answer. 5 amperes sine of omega t plus 53 degree. 5 amperes sine of omega t plus 53 degree. This is the, I hope you understood this. Let us do the next sum. What it is saying? It is saying that in an AC circuit, the instantaneous values of EMF and current are E is given and I is given. The average power consumed. What is the formula for average power consumed? Equal to, okay, E into I. That is, we know that this is VRMS into IRMS into what? Cos of delta phi. Okay, this is the formula that is given for the average power consumed. Okay, here what is the average? How much is VRMS they have given? VRMS they have given. What is the value of VRMS? See, they have given. Okay, I can write this as what? ERMS into IRMS into cos of delta phi. Here, E is instantaneous value of voltage is given 200 sine of 314t, right? Compare this with what? E is equal to what? E naught sine of omega t. Okay, right? What is ERMS? ERMS is equal to what? E naught by root 2. E naught by root 2. Understood? There is nothing but what? E naught by root 2 into I naught by root 2 into cos of delta phi. How much is E naught? E naught they have given. E naught is equal to, compare this one. E naught is how much? E naught is equal to 200 volts. I can compare this equation. E is equal to, how much? Similarly here, how much is I is given? I is equal to what? Sine of omega t. Sine of omega t, or directly I'll write down. I is equal to, how much they have given? I is equal to sine of 314t, 314t plus of pi by 3, plus of pi by 3. Compare this with what? Compare this instantaneous variable current. I is equal to I naught sine of omega t plus of phi. How much is I naught here? I naught is equal to 1 ampere. I naught is equal to 1 amperes. Okay, what is the coefficient of sine here? That is 1. Okay, what is IRMS? IRMS is equal to I naught by root 2. I naught by root 2. Therefore, here E naught is how much? E naught is 200 divided by root 2 into I naught is how much? 200 by root 2 into I naught, that is 1 by root 2 into cos of, what is the angle between, voltage and current here? Phi is 60 degree. Okay, that is delta phi. Delta phi is the difference between, delta phi is equal to what? Delta phi is how much? Is the, okay, this minus this, how much? That is pi by 3. Here pi by 3. You know, cos of pi by 3 is how much? 60 degree. Right. Okay, that is equal to 200 by, I can write this as 2 into, again how much? Cos of 60 degrees 1 by 2. Understood? 200 by 4 is equal to how much? 50 watts. 50 watts is the right answer. 50 watts is the right answer. Hope you have understood this. Very easy sum based on, but here you have to be careful. Okay, you know the formula. Okay, for average power consumed, just you have to substitute the values. Be careful about how to calculate E naught and I naught. Directly you can write, and delta phi is pi by 3. Let us do the next sum. What is saying? It is saying that if a current I is given by I naught, okay, current I is given by what? I naught sine of omega t minus of pi by 2. Okay, and E is equal to what? E naught sine of omega t. So what is the phase difference? Phase difference equal to pi by 2. Okay, now let us draw the phasor diagram. This is E. Okay, this is E. E is equal to E naught sine of omega t. What is I naught? I naught is sine of omega t minus pi by 2. Minus pi by 2 will be where? It will be downwards. This is I. Okay, what is the angle between this? That is pi by 2. That is pi by 2. Therefore, what is the formula for average power consumed? Equal to ERMS into IRMS into what? Cos of delta phi. Here delta phi is pi by 2. Cos of 90 is how much? Is equal to 0. Average power consumed is what? 0 here. Hope you understood this. Okay, because if I substitute cos of 90 is how much? We'll go to the next sum. Okay, now for today this much only, my dear friends. If you like this video, kindly like it, share with your friends, ask doubts in the comment box, and subscribe for my channel. I wish you all the best for your KCET and NEET examinations. Keep studying. Don't lose the hope. Always get motivated. Thank you one and all.